All right, what's going on? Welcome to Insight with Irv. I'm excited about this episode today because this actually was inspired by a post that I put up over on Twitter and over on my Facebook. And I've been getting a lot of feedback on it because it sounds like it resonated with a lot of you guys. So I figured, what the heck? Let's go ahead and make a full-blown podcast on this because I think that if it resonated with so many people in a written format, I think it's going to resonate with a lot of us here on this show today. And so the episode, or really the title of this message today, is going to be, if you can keep these four things in check, you will be unstoppable. Like, quite literally. So insert whatever that is for your life. If you're looking to get your health in check, if you're looking to get your business in check, if you're looking to get your relationships in check, this is going to help you out. But you guys know that we talk a lot about business today. So a lot of the language that we're going to be using today is going to be geared around business. And the first thing that you have to put in check, I don't care if you're just starting out, I don't care if you've been in business for some time, is you want to put it into check your emotions. There is nothing more detrimental, in my opinion, that's going to cause someone to fail or to stumble or to not even get back up, especially when you're facing a tough time in your business, because it's not a matter of if it happens, it's a matter of when it happens. That's going to be your emotions. I see a lot of entrepreneurs that I'm talking to week in, week out inside of our program. And one of the things that I notice is that we just get too emotional sometimes. We get too emotional about the people that we work with. Hey, Irv, I don't know if I should let this person go. I'm not sure what's the best course of action for my business. I feel like I'm kind of stuck here. Like, I'm upset, I'm sad. I'm not telling you not to feel those things, right? Your emotions are going to be gauges in your day-to-day, but they're not going to be the determining factor on how you make decisions. Because what ends up happening is, if you're sad, then obviously you're going to be withheld to, hey, I don't want to let this person go, or I don't want to do this activity because I just don't feel like it. I'm moping around the house. It's a rainy day, right? The issue with that is that if you have too many of those days lined up in a month, it's going to slow you down. So whatever should have taken maybe 90 days for you to go through, whether you're in a slump or you're in a season of just hard work, it's going to get prolonged because, again, you're giving into your emotions a little bit more than you should. And again, I'm not saying not to feel those emotions. You want to feel that, but you want to, again, turn it in your favor. If you're sad, hey, we're going to do this anyways. It's just a below baseline level kind of day. If I'm usually up here in my energy level, if my emotions are, or if I'm usually not as sad, right? It's just, hey, maybe I'm usually operating at an 8 or a 9 out of 10. Today's maybe operating at a 3. It's okay to have some of those days. Again, just don't be controlled by it. The next thing that you want to have in check is your expectations. Now, if I had to kind of rank these, it's really hard because there's no specific order. But emotions and expectations are right up there. Here's why. Sometimes you'll have expectations that are set up by you. Hey, I want to have that house by this age. Hey, I want my business to pump out this amount of cash flow by this year. Hey, I want to have this many kids by this time frame. And that's cool. We all have our targets. We all have our goals. But oftentimes what ends up happening is that we have two different expectations that get set on us. The ones that are external, meaning they get set up by family members, they get set up by friends, they get set up by maybe people around us. And then the second one is going to be the one that you set up on yourself. But the issue that often is happening is that the expectations that we set on ourselves, because we usually, the way that it works, especially if you're more of a high achiever, high driven kind of person, is you're going to be a little too hard on yourself. Now, you want to be hard on yourself because no one's going to take it easy on you, especially out there in the real world and in the business world, right? You have to go out there, you have to earn business from clients. But if you don't give yourself some grace, especially with the expectations that you set on yourself, you end up setting yourself up as it's pretty much a trap. So you end up setting yourself up for failure. And so when you're setting up these expectations, you want to already think to yourself, if I hit this, good. And if I don't hit this, that's fine. We're going to continue to work because the work that we do, we find meaningful. And the problem that I see that a lot of entrepreneurs have, that is something else that I wanted to add on to this, is that we tend to put labels on things. Hey, this is either good or this is bad. If I don't reach this target by 25, that's bad. This is no good. I suck. And you start beating yourself down. And then you end up not doing that thing that you set out for to begin with. Versus, hey, if I hit this thing, fantastic. We'll move the goalpost we'll reassess, and then we'll set up a new target. If I don't hit it, that's fine as well, because now I can see, okay, why didn't we hit this target? It has nothing to do with me as a person. Like, I'm not a failure. Maybe the activities that I was doing led me down this direction, but that doesn't make me any less of a human being or an individual. And I know that that's a hard thing for a lot of us creatives to grasp, especially when a lot of your work is attached to the algorithm. A lot of your work is attached to the marketplace voting with their dollars. But that's not a clear, what we call correlation to who you are as a human. It just means that your work, or maybe your expectation, needs to get set up in a way that actually meets the reality. Number 3 is your activities. Now, your activities is, again, kind of ties in with expectations, because it's a two-way street. If you didn't meet your expectations, then you have to put into check, what were my activities during that time? So a lot of us tend to work in 90-day timeframes, right? Especially when we're in business. Hey, I want to, let's say, add an extra $10,000, $15,000 in income into my business. And as an example, that can come from making a good hire, that can come from training 2 or 3 people that you want to replace maybe the work that you're doing with, or that could just come from selling more customers. So that could be making more cold calls, making more outbound touches, maybe through the DMs, maybe going to more networking events, exchanging more business cards, whatever it is that you're doing as your main source of client acquisition, right? But what ends up happening is that the activities that we do don't move the needle forward, because what ends up happening is the things that we're working on, unfortunately, are low leverage opportunities. And so, hey, let me send this email out. Or, hey, let me go to the grocery store and let me, buy some healthy food, because I just don't feel like working today. So let me go get caffeinated. I know, because I'm always caffeinated, right? I was telling my videographer, Jared, before he came in here today, dude, I'm ready to roll. Like, I'm caffeinated. And that, I know that's not always the best thing, because I've been in a place where, I can't work until I have my second cup of coffee. I can't work until I've had a Bang Energy, which I've been laying off of, or at least been trying to lay off of, especially more and more, right? So I started noticing that, dude, this thing has a grip on me. And I'm not working on the activities that I want to, because I don't feel like it. And I'm not really moving the needle forward on activities that are really challenging me. I think that there's a clear definition, or really a clear separation between us feeling lazy and us feeling just unmotivated, right? I find it really hard. I struggle with people when they tell me, hey, I feel like I'm motivated. And sometimes I look at them, I'm like, no, you're just a little lazy. And then other times I look at people like, hey, dude, I feel like I'm lazy. And then they're doing way more than they probably should be. And really what they struggle with is motivation. So you want to kind of have like that clear ground on what it is that you're working on, the activity. It does not have to excite you. I'll say that again. It does not have to excite you. The activity that you're working on, you have to put, again, your emotions and your expectations above what it is that you're working on, so that you can get to the greater cause. And again, that's scaling your business and getting the most out of your life. And then the fourth and final one that I have here is your environment. Now, I know depending on where you're watching this, you probably live with family. You probably live in a neighborhood that you don't necessarily want to live in. Maybe you're saving up to get yourself into a better into a better home, better townhouse, better apartment, whatever it is, geographically. I'm not necessarily just talking about a physical location. When I say environment, I'm also referring to what it is that you're watching. And so what it is that we're watching online, like, are we watching something positive that's pouring back into us? Or are we something that's just, or are we watching something that we're just getting a quick hit of dopamine that we're not necessarily working toward? And it just kind of fills that void, so that, again, we don't face the beast, which is the work that needs to be done ahead of us, right? The challenges that we need to overcome day in, day out in our lives. What I've noticed a lot with entrepreneurs is they say, well, I just need to move, or I just need a new group of friends. And while some of that may be true, you want to see how you can curate your environment. Again, the music you listen to, the things that you look up online, the food that we consume, how much activity we get day in, day out, with even the way that we exercise, how we move our bodies. This is all part of our environment. Even how you speak to yourself has a level of degree of importance to what your environment is, right? If I were to come right now and sit in front of my desk, I like to have a certain setup, right? I don't like to have my phone around me. I don't like to have emails or my tabs open. I don't like to see emails in front of me. I time block, hey, this is when I'm checking my emails. This is when I'm checking my text, because I kind of dangle it like a carrot of, okay, this is my reward, right? And I know that sounds weird, but when you're trying to really get some serious work done and when you're really trying to move that ball forward, you have to curate your environment, because if not, you are going to be consumed by it if you're not careful. And so again, those are really the 4 areas that I think that if you can control them and if you can keep them in check, you are going to be unstoppable. Your emotions, your expectations, your activities, and your environments. And lastly, I want to close it with this. Remember, it's about controlling yours and not theirs. You're not controlling anyone else's environment. You're not controlling anyone else's emotions. You're not controlling anyone else's activities. You're not controlling someone else's emotions. You're controlling your emotions, your activities, you're controlling your expectations, and you are controlling your environment. If you can nail this, I promise you, you will be unstoppable and you will be able to get far more done and far closer to what you're setting out for versus most likely how you're running your life right now. So I hope that you found value in this podcast. Again, we don't run any ads on here. We don't have any sponsors. All that we ask is that you leave us a 5-star review if you found value in it, and that you share it with someone else that you know is going to find, again, fulfillment and enjoyment through some of the episodes that we put out. Once again, I appreciate you guys checking me out. Till next time, everyone, I will see you in the next episode.